Hey, so Civil 100 here. Considering how well my first video did on the topic of Killing Floor 3, along with my own personal interest in the subject, I figured I'd make another video on it. Before I get into this, I'd like to give a huge shout out to the channel WeezaTZK, hope I say that right, as I follow him and YouTubers like Pathfinder for the up-to-date news on anything Killing Floor. I'm not in the breaking news business around here if you hadn't noticed. I just give my unsolicited opinion about any gaming topic. But he's currently doing a great job in that front, so I just wanted to shout him out. I'll be using his recent videos as a source for everything discussed around the Killing Floor 3 PAX event, and promotional material shown before it. I gotta be honest with you, I didn't even know the livestream was a thing until I saw him cover it. I say this because I had a few people tell me I could do better on the research front in areas. With that first video, I have to admit that is true to some extent. For the last month I've been kind of lazy after my last video in a general sense, and paying attention to Killing Floor 3 news was a part of that. It took me far too long to figure out that the game was delayed again, and when I heard about it, I didn't feel like it was enough for me to make a video on. But enough yapping, let's get into more depth about what Tripwire's been up to with Killing Floor 3 since the delay, and some aspects that I believe are here to stay since the beta released. Let's start with what I like. First off, one of my criticisms for the upcoming launch was the UI. Now it seems to be a lot more inspired by Killing Floor 2's UI, which I already like plenty, so huge thumbs up for me there. In this video, they also showed off a more gritty and horrific map design more akin to the previous games as opposed to the bleak futuristic maps with some set in the middle of the day that were available in the beta. And honestly, that's great. It's good that we're getting a bit more of those horror elements that made Killing Floor 1 so great. Also, from this new UI, it appears we're getting perks instead of specialists. I'm not 100% sure on this, but I would hope that's what this means, as this was my and many others' biggest complaint after it was announced back in 2024. Pair that with the animation overhaul, and Killing Floor 3 might just be saved yet. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. There's still some things I have mild concerns about. First off, I never even mentioned the number one thing I liked about the games. The music! It's so damn good. And part of the reason why I love the soundtrack and why others have a distaste for it is some of the lyrics. Yep, that's right. The games from the very start had Christian lyrics for their vocal tracks, although the lyrics that were made for the first game were separated in the release. I personally like what the band Dirge did for the first game, but I can understand why this wasn't included. I'm always living in a state of disarray. Why do I take away? I don't want to live another day like this. Why do I exist? Just run on a train. I just have to say I hate this place. We'll get back to what this means for Killing Floor 3 in a moment, but for now, you see, back in the early 2000s, Dirge was a nu metal garage band. This is important, I promise, just bear with me. The lead singer and supposed lyricist of this band, I would have looked it up, but they're very niche, just so happened to be Tripwire's CEO at the time.
How neat is that?
So come around what I'm guessing is near Killing Floor 2's release in 2016, was the stepping down of this CEO after some Twitter people made a big fuss about his anti-abortion stance. Given the fact this is a very divisive topic, I'm not going to say anything more about it on this channel, other than you people who do this have better things to do with your time than harass someone for a different viewpoint. Anyway, this is all to say I have no idea how many people who worked on the previous two titles are still with the company, and I'm wondering if any music will even have Christian lyrics to them at all with the current state of the culture war. I personally, as it may be no surprise to many of you if you see my previous videos, would like them to stay. So there's concern number one, which is not as big of a deal, I'll admit. But another thing I'm concerned about that's here to stay are the game's microtransactions. And before you get on to me about Killing Floor 2 having microtransactions, it was bad there too, and I don't want them here. But I also don't see any way that could go about removing them at this point that would make people who already spent money on them happy. This is something they absolutely cannot fix in my eyes, and that's why it still remains as a heavy criticism for me, because they basically dug their own grave here adding it in the first place. Overall, looking at the upcoming release from what I can see now is still cautiously optimistic, but cautious to a lesser extent because they actually delayed the game upon fan uproar. From the start, I've only wanted the game to be good upon release, of course, but when I saw gameplay and microtransactions from the beta, I really started to give up on it. So is Killing Floor safe? Potentially, but only time will tell. I can only hope the game will be great and stick the landing. It's a step in the right direction for sure. I mean, Fortnite has microtransactions, and I still like the game and play it plenty, so it's not a deal breaker per se. But I want to know what you guys think. Will Tripwire stick the landing on Killing Floor 3, or will it flop like Payday 3? For future content, I still plan on making my top 5 games video. As I said, I've been lazy as of late, and so I don't really know how to properly stream just yet. But as always, if you did enjoy this video, please do be sure to give it a like, helps the channel out plenty, and I hope to catch you later.
Swallow